Seth Greenberg of the Mothership. What a busy guy. He was the two-time ACC Coach of the Year at Virginia Tech. Where are those awards?
In my office, behind my desk somewhere.
Okay. Do you proudly display those and like, hey, come on into my office, look what I got? Like if I go into Coach K's office, I get to see national championship trophies.
Well, I mean, I'm not Coach K, but I do have two national ACC Coach of the Year. And what I do is a FaceTime from my office. I show them prominently along with the wins against Duke and Carolina.
What was your record against Duke?
I was 3-6.
And what were you against?
Which is good.
Dean Smith?
I didn't coach against Dean. I'm not that old. I coached against Roy. I think I had 3 wins against Roy. One of them was actually when they were number 1 in the country at Kansas. It was weird. My teams, we had 4 wins against number 1s, and they were all on the road, which is kind of bizarre.
Explain to me the role that coaching plays now as opposed to maybe earlier in the tournament or during the regular season.
Everyone's going to say, does experience have a factor? Come to the Final Four. People who have been through it, understand it, have an experience of dealing with all the requests to media, and kind of finding a balancing point for the preparation. I think coaching has an impact every time of the year. What are you going to give? What are you going to take away? You're not going to reinvent yourself in the NCAA tournament. How you get your guys to understand what's the essence of what you have to do to win. And then making sure you're managing. The hardest thing in the Final Four, as an assistant coach in '84 with Coach Holland, is managing all the obligations and keeping the guys focused. It's great. It's unique. You got, police escorts. You're practicing in front of 25,000 people. You've got 8,000 people that want tickets. Managing all that so you can stay focused on what's most important in the game. And the very best figure out, all right, how do we get laser focused on the things that are most important? And now it's even harder with social media, with agents, with workout gurus, with all the other obligations that players are asked. And then also, like some of these guys might end up transferring at the end of the Final Four.
I was talking to John Shire last hour about that the blueprint, it feels like, has changed, where you have the blue bloods are taking away the mid-majors, good players, to prevent the mid-majors from making these Cinderella runs. It's kind of circumventing the system there a little bit. Instead of waiting for this, they come in and grab those players. And we're seeing less freshmen impact the tournament other than Duke. And it feels like now it's, maybe sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Is this what we should be expecting in years to come?
100%. This is the future. 100%. Look how old the Duke, look how old the Auburn team is. You'll get a starting lineup. There's a 25-year-old, a 23-year-old, a 24-year-old. You've got 1 freshman in Auburn, Todd Pettiford. You got 3 freshmen basically at Duke. You don't have another freshman. You've got every single team. Look at Florida's team. They got 4 mid-major transfers that are having a huge impact on their team. So this is the future, right? With NIL, with the transfer portal. And that's why, in a lot of ways, look, this is the way it's going to be. But we've got to get guidelines, and we just have to. And we've got to have contracts, and we've got to have incentives. And the other thing we've got to do is we've got to eventually put education back into this thing also. Like, you're getting guys transferred 3 and 4 times. It's going to impact graduation. We've got to have incentives for academic progress, retention, graduation, community service, along with obviously team success, and then maybe some individual success. We've got to have base salaries. We've got to find a way to get this thing back. And I'm all for the players making money. That's not it. But we've got to have some, name me one. College basketball is a professional sport right now. Yeah. That's what it is. It's a professional sport. Name a professional sport that has year-to-year free agency.
I don't think any. Well, the owners wouldn't allow it to happen because they don't want it to happen.
And people say, well, coaches can go anytime they want. I agree. Coaches can go anytime they want. And you've seen a lot of coaches go from mid-major to high major. You see Kevin Willard go from Maryland to Villanova just a week. And that's true. And what do coaches have in their contracts? They have two-way security. They've got guarantees if they get fired, but they also have buyouts. And I actually think the part of the contracts with the players needs to be a buyout. I don't care who pays it. Player can pay it. The school that's trying to get the kid can pay it. But if we have buyouts and it's 2 ways and we have 2-year contracts, we can get some continuity in the game.
All four number one seeds reached the Final Four. Second time that happened, 2008, the only other time. Good thing for the tournament or a bad thing?
This year, a very good thing, because those four teams have separated themselves all season long. All those four teams, I think, if I'm not mistaken, have been number one in the country. This is the future. I don't know about all four number ones, but the one number ones beat the number twos. You saw what happened to Tennessee. You saw what happened to Michigan State. Yeah, I do. I think it's good on good. You're going to see the best players playing against each other. You're going to see the best teams who've earned it with their body of work throughout the season playing against each other. You're not just going to see a Cinderella who gets out. We don't have that many Cinderellas. We have them in the first round, the second round. There are very few VCUs and Loyolas. That doesn't happen very often. And I look at upsets. If you have a 1 and a 3, and they're major conferences and they teams that have beaten other high-level teams, it's no big thing. But this year, and the last time it was the four number ones, it was in San Antonio also. This year, these four teams have separated themselves throughout the season. Their body of work said that, let's see good on good. Let's see great defense in Houston and great offense and defense in Duke. Let's see Janai Broom having his Willis Reed type moment coming out of the locker room, and making that three, against a Florida team where Walter Clayton absolutely just took over 2 games at the end of the games. I actually think we have a great Final Four.
Seth Greenberg, ESPN college basketball analyst. Let me go back to Walter Clayton Jr. I am a big proponent of not letting your best player beat me. And I, for the life of me, couldn't understand this. That's the one guy, right? Everybody in the building knows that's the one guy. Why am I not getting 2 people at him? Why not am and I know he's quick. He's got a quick release, all of that. I got to take the ball out of his hands, Seth. I don't understand this from a coaching perspective. Tell me what I'm missing here.
Look, that was my philosophy. Every time I won a big game, we took the other team's best player out. I mean, it was just an automatic. Grant McCaslin did that for 36 minutes. They blitzed him on every ball screen. They got the ball out of his hands. And they did an incredible job on him. They always committed 2 to the ball and forced him to kick it out. Now, one time, late game, look, that upset, it takes 2 to tango. So, Texas Tech helped them by missing the free throws. Texas Tech helped them by taking some quick shots. And then, Thomas Houck happened. He makes those first 2 threes, which were huge. One of them on a pass off a double team where they got the ball out of Clayton's hands, and he gave it up early, and Houck knocked down a big 3. Late in the game, I am 100% agree with you. Late in the game, I thought Clayton did a really good job of relocating quickly before they could send a second guy at him. The last one he made, where he was inside the 3-point line, about the foul line, and he turned and dribbled out and got himself squared up. I asked Jay Will the other day, how hard I can't relate to it. How hard is that to do? And it's really hard. So I give the guy credit for making those plays, but that's what Grant McCaslin wanted to do. But he said, he thought his team got a little tired and lost its focus. And you lose your focus on that guy, and he sends you home.
Yeah, and you're right about the free throws, because if they make the free throws, then
game's over.
There's no heroics there. How would you describe Cooper Flagg's game to somebody who hadn't seen him play?
The most versatile player I've seen. I compare him to Grant Hill, Scottie Pippen, very much those 2 guys, I think, and Jason Tatum. He's got kind of a mixture of all 3 of those guys. I mean, he can initiate your offense, kind of like they do with Tatum and Scottie Pippen did. He scores at all 3 levels. People don't really appreciate his 7'2" wingspan. He's got great defensive range, and he's so damn unselfish. Like he's a terrific passer. I mean, his feel for the game. He's 18 years old. He's 18 years old, and he just plays total I got this. We're in good shape. Never gets too high. Now his mom has lost her mind, but he is perfectly fine. That dude's playing in the biggest games, in the biggest moments, knocking down big shots. And like his mom, he made a couple turnovers early in the game, and the first thing he hears from his mom is, the 3 turnovers. You got to be better with the ball. I mean, there's a high standard. There's a high standard in the Flagg family. I understand that, but he's unique. And people say unicorn. Yeah, I don't know. I've never met a unicorn, so I don't know what a unicorn is. But the dude is like really he's not only special, but his demeanor is special, and yet being fiercely competitive.
You coached against Duke when people hated Duke.
Yeah.
But this team has embraced. I said to Coach Shire, I said, people don't dislike Duke. Like they're kind of like, yeah, you might not root for them, but it doesn't feel like you're rooting against them.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit had to do with Mike and the Evil Empire. It had to do with just the amount of success he had, the consistency and his success. Yeah, Duke became the Yankees. You loved them or you hated them. It's just the way it is. So I mean, Coach K and what he was able to build and the consistency that he had, people got tired of him. And either you liked him or you didn't like him. John Shire. And I'm glad you had him on. To me, he's incredible. He is so comfortable in his own skin. He's not Coach K 2.0 or 1.0. He's John Shire 2.0. He is 100% unapologetically himself. The way they play, totally different style of basketball in a lot of ways. The way they defend, differently. They're not denying everything. They're keeping it in front. The way he interacts with his team, holds him accountable, but a little bit different, but a great communicator. Coach K was a great motivator in the history of our sport, maybe in the history of sport ever. His ability to create causes, whether he did it with the Olympic team or with his Duke teams. But John Shire has a likability to him. He's allowed these guys, and it's a different age. Everyone knows these guys now from TikTok and social media and the accessibility that they have. You see their personalities. They're not like put in small boxes. So I think the social media aspect of it has changed it. John Shire's approach has changed it. And these kids are very comfortable putting themselves out and being a little bit outside the box of you would think that people expect them to be.